Hi, everyone. Today, I want to talk about sleep and rest and everything that concerns sleeping and resting, right? And this one is a topic close to my heart, and I'll tell you why. So, I have been struggling with getting good quality sleep for the last few weeks. But even before then, I have been trying to see how I can sleep better or get good quality sleep and wake up feeling refreshed to face the day. Now, you know that thing that even though you feel you slept for a good amount of hours, but you wake up in the morning and you're feeling tired, like you didn't get enough sleep. Had been dealing with that for a couple of months, and my sleep pattern has been funny. So I used to say, because I'm on a journey to changing this, I used to say that I'm a night person and I am not a morning person. But I also realize more than ever the power in the words. That's why I have stopped saying that. So what used to happen is that I would struggle to wake up in the morning. I did not used to be a morning person. And I would, the first few hours of the day, my brain is still a bit fuzzy, and I'll start getting like awake or in the zone around midday. And when I'm in like my most clearest head or ready with the most energy to, face anything I need to do, whether it's brain work or whatever, it's towards the evening, like from 4 p.m. That's when I'm like, you know what? My brain is like, okay, yes, I'm ready to do everything you want me to do. And what now happens is that I find myself doing a lot of my work or a lot of things I want to do from that time. And anyone who knows me well knows that once I get in the zone with anything I'm doing, whether it is writing or creating content or doing some analysis work or whatever it is, once I get into that zone, it's hard for me to come out of it. And so I can easily spend hours doing something and finding out that, oops, it's already like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Now, to come out, to tell myself to stop and come out of that zone and probably go and start getting ready to go to bed is a struggle for me. Because once I'm in that place where my brain is really active and working and ideas are flowing or I'm writing, things are flowing, it's hard for me to come out of it. And I published my book in December of 2023, my first book, my memoir. So if you're on Amazon or you're in Nigeria or Roving Heights online bookstore, please search for my book, Never Behind, a memoir about love, life, and everything in between. My name, Ogechukwu Anozie. So search for it, and I promise you will not regret buying and reading that book. So back to the reason why I mentioned this was that a lot of my time spent writing that book was very late into the night to very early in the morning. I know that there were a few times when I didn't sleep throughout the night. Like I'm literally going to bed when people are waking up in the morning, probably going to bed around 5 a.m. That's when every normal person is getting ready to wake up to face their day. And here I am just going to sleep because I spent the entire night and early hours of the morning writing my book because I was in the zone and the ideas were flowing. And yes, it's really hard to get me out of that place. I'm learning that I need to stop and go and rest because you see, that time, it's for health reasons. It doesn't make sense or it's not beneficial to us, or rather it's detrimental to our health for anyone to be awake between that early hours of 12 a.m., between 12 and 4 a.m. You should be sleeping. And there's been a lot of research and science to back this up, why your body should be sleeping at that time. And if you're constantly awake during that time, then you are leaving yourself vulnerable to health issues in future. Now, back to the main gist of the day, right? So I noticed this bad habit I have around sleep, right? And have been trying to see how I can do better with it. And the more I begin to research around sleep, the more I begin to understand why it's important to get like sufficient amount of sleep every day, and not even sufficient amount of sleep, but sleeping, having a regular sleep schedule, right? That helps your body to establish a circadian rhythm, which is basically your body clock. So getting to a place where your body knows what time you should be sleeping and what time you should be waking up. That is why you will hear some people say, no matter when I go to bed, I wake up at, for example, 6 o'clock every morning. That's because their body has established a rhythm that says by 6 you should wake up. Maybe it's due to maybe they've had that habit over the years of waking up at that time. It could be that they've always set an alarm clock to wake them up at that time, and the body has gotten used to waking up that time, right? And then with time, your body doesn't even need an alarm clock to wake up at a certain time. Now, I understood that my sleep pattern wasn't the best, and because I don't go to bed early, I struggle to wake up early. And then by the time I'm waking up or I am ready to face my day, I then realize that I have a shorter amount of hours to fit in all the things I need to do in a day before nighttime comes. And because I am trying to go to bed earlier or early, I find out that I'm having a shorter amount of period to do all the things I need to do. So it was a vicious cycle for me. So I don't wake up early, and then I don't go to bed early, or I don't wake up early and I don't have enough time to do the things I need to do before I force myself to go to bed early, because I'm on a journey of reclaiming my sleep, reclaiming my energy, reclaiming my life back, right? So yeah. Now, having recognized this and having said all this, I started a sleep challenge a week ago. It's a Sleep Better sleep challenge to encourage myself and any other person who is also struggling to get quality sleep, to help us sleep better, establish good bedtime routines and habits around sleeping, and also ensuring that we wake up every morning refreshed and energized to face our day. Right. So this is me sharing my findings. The week has passed by, and I must tell you that it has not been easy, right? It has been a struggle for me, especially in the last few days, about 3 to 4 days. And some of the things I found out is what I want to share with you. Before I get into that, I also want to share when it comes to sleep, right? It is recommended that an adult, right, every adult should get between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And this varies with regards different people. Some people find out that 7 hours of sleep is sufficient for them. Personally, I need all of the 9 hours to feel well rested and feel refreshed. Yes, I have tested it. 7 hours is not enough. 8 hours I can manage. 9 hours is the optimal level that I need to feel well rested. So that's what works for me, and I've established it. So it would be nice for you to also see how many hours is sufficient for you to sleep, so that you are ensuring that you're getting optimal sleep. Anything below that, if you're consistently getting 6 hours of sleep, that's not good. That is not good at all. You are setting yourself up for sleep deprived and stress related issues in future. So I advise you that if you find out that you're regularly sleeping for 6 hours and less, try and see how you can increase the number of hours that you sleep. And it's something that you can start gradually before you establish 7 hours as a minimum, the number of sleep that you get every night. Now, let me share the tips from, or before then, let me just try and explain the dangers with not getting good quality sleep. The first one is, and I'm sure a lot of us, or a lot of people watching this would have noticed this, is that if you don't have enough sleep, you wake up the next day with low energy. You don't have enough energy to face the day. You're just dragging yourself through the day. I've experienced it a number of times. And because you probably have a lot of things to do, you have a 9 to 5, you have a business you're running, you have kids you need to attend to, you have a spouse you need to be present with, or present in your home and with your family. You have things, you have people pulling you here and there. So you cannot afford to be in bed longer than a certain amount of time. So you're just trying to gather yourself and go through and deliver on all the responsibilities that you have. But you know that that day you're just not at your best. That's one. The second one is that it impairs your cognitive ability. So our brain, and a lot of us who do a lot of brain work, right? You need your brain to be alert. You need your brain to be fresh. You need your brain to be well rested for you to be able to do the work you need to do, especially when you do a lot of analysis or thinking, right? If you don't have enough sleep or you're not well rested, you are not able to think properly. So even though it feels like you are present that day at work or whatever it is you had to do, you are not at your best. You're probably, if you had slept well, the amount of things you would have achieved within that day, would definitely be more than on a day when you don't feel well rested. You probably struggle a lot. And for me, sometimes when I find myself in that situation, I just need to take a nap during the day, because it gets to a point where I can't even think again. I cannot think properly. I just need to close my eyes and sleep for a few minutes. So I find a way to get a quick, even if it's just 30 minutes nap, it helps. But still, I need to make a plan to catch up on sleep. And catching up on sleep is even what's that thing? I feel like it's a dream. It's something you keep chasing that you almost can't reach, because how it's not impossible, but it's like it's a struggle to, or try and say you want to catch up on lost sleep. Because how much more earlier can you go to sleep in a day if already you're going to bed later? Even if you say you're sleeping during the day, sometimes our bodies are aware that you should be awake during the day. So you might not get that in-depth sleep that you would get at night versus sleeping during the day. Even on weekends, if you say you want to spend more time, sometimes you have other responsibilities that are taking your time. But it's with intention that you can say, you know what, I want to reclaim some of my lost sleep, some of the sleep I've lost during the week. But it's just better to make a plan to sleep early, or to sleep well and get sufficient amount of sleep. Then another one is, if continuous lack of good quality sleep, in addition to continuous stress, right, can raise your cortisol level. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and it gets high sometimes. It's a natural thing for it to get high in our lives sometimes, because when you're scared or you are anxious about something, or you are, it will rise up. Your cortisol level will rise up. It's that fight or flight, putting your body in that fight or flight situation, right? But obviously, after that situation, or that feeling of danger, or feeling like you need to protect yourself, or whatever it is, or that thought goes off, it's supposed to come down. But if you're constantly if your cortisol level is constantly high, or you're constantly stressed, which can also be as a result of lack of sleep, or as a result of other things going on in your life, work, whatever it is, then that's a problem. Because what happens is that eventually it leads, or it can lead to you developing chronic illnesses like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, lung disease, right? And if your cortisol level keeps going up, you're also likely to develop anxiety or depression, or even weight gain. So this one again is especially for people who are on a weight loss journey, or you just started your fitness journey, or you've been on your fitness journey and you're so passionate and committed to hitting your fitness goals. If you're not managing your stress and you're not getting enough sleep, then you're going to be jeopardizing all of the work you're doing, because you're not going to be seeing results. You're going to be gaining weight rather than losing weight. And over time, with being consistently overweight, it can eventually lead to obesity. And we know that there's so many health risks associated with obesity. So I just wanted to highlight some of the dangers of not getting enough sleep or rest to our lives. So I feel like sometimes sleep is underrated, but sleep is very, 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 very important to our overall health. The same way nutrition and eating the right diet, feeding our souls, eating foods that heal rather than kill us is important. That's how important sleep and getting adequate rest is. The same way being physically active is important as well. All of these elements are what make up the physical part of wellness in our lives. So it's very important that we don't neglect that last bit of sleep. If you're focusing on fitness, you're focusing on nutrition, awesome, you're doing a great job. But sleep and resting and managing your stress levels properly is very, very, very important. Now, to the main gist of the day. So, obviously, in the last week, I've learned a lot of things from my sleep challenge, and I want to share them with you. It is not easy. When I started this sleep challenge, well, I didn't think it was going to be easy, but I was so pumped. I'm like, you know what? This is the time I want to be going to bed. This is the time I want to be waking up. So the target for the sleep challenge was, number one, for us to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, right? The second one was to establish a time that you go to bed every day. So going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. For example, if your aim is to go to bed at 10 p.m. every day and wake up at 6 p.m. every day, then that's what you should stick to, so that you establish that circadian rhythm that your body gets used to, and you don't even need an alarm clock at some point to wake up in the future. So between 10 and 6, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 8 hours of sleep, right? So that's within the 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Or it could be go to bed at 9, wake up at 5, go to bed at 11, wake up at 7 or 6, depending on you. Just making sure that, number one, we're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Number two, you're going to bed and waking up at the same time. Then number three, we're establishing proper bedtime routines, like not eating too close to bedtime, stopping your last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before you sleep. Also disconnecting from devices, technology and devices. Devices includes your TV, your phone, your laptop, anything with emitting blue lights. Disconnecting from it at least 1 hour before you go to bed. And then what else? That's it. And then making your room a sleep haven. Making your room conducive for sleep. And that's like having like thick curtains that block out light, or not putting on light. I don't usually understand people who sleep with bright lights, like the lights on. I cannot sleep without light, because my brain, no matter how much I close my eyes, I just feel like I'm not getting enough sleep, right? But of course, I know that there are situations where you might find yourself in a place where you don't have 100% control over what time the lights goes off. So get a sleep mask. I have a sleep mask. I do. And even just beyond that, I know I live alone, but like there are times when maybe I need to sleep longer or during the day. And even though my curtain does a great job of blocking out light, because it's daytime and somehow the room will still feel like it's daytime. I wear a sleep mask to just, create that illusion that it's night. And if I know that I want to wake up later than normal, I just wear my sleep mask to go to bed so that I'm not tempted to open my eyes by mistake and see light and then struggle to go back to bed. Because personally, light impacts my sleep negatively. And then what else? Trying to reduce or minimize noise in your bedroom as much as possible. I know there are some situations where, depending on what part of town you live in, or if you live very close to the highway, you can't 100% eliminate it, but you can find ways to maybe close your windows or invest in white noise or have some sort of music. For those that it works for. Music doesn't work for me. I like listening to it, but if I want to sleep well, I need to put off the music at some point, because I would just be humming the music. I can wake up in the middle of the night, hear it, I'm singing. So I'm not sleeping. I'm now singing the song, right? I'm enjoying the music so much. It's delaying my bedtime and is preventing me from committing fully to sleep. But there are some people that it works for and they sleep very well through music. So just find out what works for you and do you. Then temperature as well matters. Making sure you're sleeping in a room that is not too hot and is not too cold. So if you can be able to manage this, if you live in the cold region, if it's too cold, maybe you want to put on the heater. If you live in a hot region like I do, if you can and you can afford and you have an AC, air conditioner in your house, you can adjust the temperature to just what is cool. Some people also, I think some air conditioners have like auto, it can go off, you can time it to go off after a couple of hours, especially if you're trying to save energy and reduce your electricity cost, right? And just find ways. Unfortunately, sometimes the power might go out for whatever situation, especially in countries where power is not constant and you may not really have control over this. I empathize with everyone. I also live in a country where power is not very constant, but if you can find ways to have alternative sources of power so that at least you still have like the fan, making the room not so hot, or having some way of having the right temperature for you when you're sleeping. Maybe the kind of clothing you go to bed with, maybe your beddings as well. You might want to get sheets that are silkier in nature, invest in higher quality cotton that gives a cool feel when you sleep on the bed. Invest in good quality mattress that also supports you to sleep, and pillows for me is actually very important. I've had so many situations where I travel for work or for different reasons or personal trips, and I find out that I'm not able to sleep well because of the pillow in the hotel room. And most times I end up not sleeping with the pillow and just managing. I find that it's better to sleep, just put my head on the mattress like that without the pillow than sleeping on a bulky pillow, because my pillows are they're not flat, and they're very fluffy, but I don't do well with high pillows. So over the years, and that's one thing that I greatly invest in pillows, my beddings, my mattress in my bedroom, because as much as possible, I want to try and get a good quality sleep through the night. So those are the goals that we had in the challenge. Now, what I learned, right, in this past week is that it is not easy to actually go to bed at that time that you say you want to go to bed. For me, my target was 10 p.m. Now, on the day that we started the challenge, it was a Monday, I forgot that I am currently running a program that requires 2 hours catch up every Monday evening. And so doesn't give me enough time to get into my bedtime routine. I targeted 1 hour. before my bedtime. I don't know, it skipped my mind. I thought we were going to close like an hour on the dot, but I realized, oops, I only had like 30 minutes because we're done at 9:30 p.m. my time. And before I get out of the zone of learning, and then because my brain is still very active, and because I've been there in that learning mode for 2 hours, I have so many ideas. So it takes me quite a bit of time to come out of it. And then now start preparing myself into my bedtime routine of disconnecting from my electronic devices, getting a shower, getting into any other routine that would help me to sleep well that night. So obviously, I did not achieve the 10 p.m. that night. I think I eventually went to bed at 11:30 p.m. or something. Yeah, or almost midnight. Yes, some minutes past 11:30 p.m. And I didn't let that deter me because I was like, oops, am I already failing before I'm starting the challenge, you know? But I was very transparent with the group, that because we have an accountability group that I am in, and I try to give as much updates every day and encourage other people to share their experiences as well. The next day, it was better. I was able to sleep earlier. And then we started good. And what also works for me is that I have a smartwatch that also tracks my sleep. So I'm able to see how many hours of sleep I've had in a day. And not just the hours of sleep, but like actual sleep time. What is the actual? So sometimes my watch will say, oh, you went to bed at 11:30 and you woke up at 6:30, for example. But the actual number of hours of sleep you had was between 10 to 5. You know, so you might have gone to bed total of 8 times sleep time, but you actually slept for 6 hours. So that's good insight to help you know that, okay, this is what is happening. Then I probably need to go to bed earlier to be able to get enough sleep, actual sleep time. Or says this is how much deep sleep you have. This is how much light sleep you have. This is how much sleep you were in the REM. This is how many minutes you spent in the REM part of sleep, which is where dreams happen. And I think that's where where your total body recovery or mental recovery is, if I remember correctly. And then, yeah, it just shows you what your sleep pattern is. How many hours did you wake up in between, during the entire duration of your sleep, right? And so it's been helping me to track. Also, yeah. And then it's not easy. Like I said, I struggle quite a bit and I'm still struggling a bit, to be very honest. But one thing, so the learning from that is that now understanding that the actual hours of sleep we get is usually shorter than the time we go to bed. So the learning from me, which I want to share with you guys, is that it's important to go to bed earlier. So if you know that you are aiming for 7 hours of sleep, you might want to go to bed. You might want to aim to start sleeping for at least 8 hours, the entire duration. If your aim is to get 8 hours of sleep and you want to sleep at 10 p.m., you want to sleep at 10 p.m., you might want to go to bed at 9 p.m. if you know you want to wake up at 6 p.m. for you to be able to be sure that you will get 8 hours. Because yes, 9 to 6, I think in total is 9 hours. But the actual sleep you might end up getting is just 8 hours or 7 hours. So the earlier we go to bed, the more guarantee we have that we will sleep for longer. Rather than going to bed at midnight and waking up at 6 p.m., it's already clear that you end up getting less than 6 hours of sleep, because maybe sleep time might actually be, by the time your body winds down, you're able to sleep, might actually be like 1 a.m. to 6. That's already like, oops, way below the threshold, right? So that's for me. Number one, going to bed earlier, building in, so working backwards to add an additional hour minimum to when you want to go to sleep, right? That's it. Secondly is staying away from technology. This one, I know it's difficult for all of us, but it is really important because the more we expose our eyes to our TV or our phones or our laptops or our iPads, whatever it is, and the longer you stay there, the more the brain is telling your eyes that you're awake, you're awake, you're awake. So you now wanting to just shut down suddenly to sleep. It's not going to happen. It's almost impossible. It's really going to take time for you to get into that sleep zone. So what I tell myself and I encourage other people is at least 1 hour on the dot. If you know you want to go to bed. So for me, I know I want to get to bed by 10 p.m. By 9 p.m., I'm dropping my phone to one corner and I'm like, okay, I'm not touching it. I use that time to do every other thing I want to do. Sometimes, you know what, I have another phone that I connect to my speaker that I use to play my worship music when I want to pray, all that. So what I can do is I can already start playing music on the phone. Mostly I use Spotify, so I don't need to, it just continues, right? I put it on and I turn off the screen of the phone. Spotify will continue to play irrespective of whether the phone screen is on or off. And yeah, and I continue throughout the day. If I want to pray, I get in the zone of prayer and I get into bed. If I want to turn off my phone, I just turn off the speaker and automatically the music stops. So I don't need to touch the phone because that would be, obviously the light would affect my eyes. So that is one of the things that I do to help me. Another one I realized recently is that yoga helps. Doing quick yoga, there are different types of yoga. There are the ones to tone your body. There are some for different ones, but look for yoga videos online that is for sleep. Yoga videos for sleep. Simple ones that you can even do on your bed. A lot of the ones I do, I stay on my bed to do them so that as soon as I'm done, I just drift off to sleep. So by the time I'm ready to do it, I've showered, I've gotten into my nightwear, I am on my bed ready to sleep. Then I get into the yoga, what do you call it? The yoga practice before I go to bed. Now, the thing here is that because a lot of times you tend to watch yoga videos online, and again, you're looking at your screen, which defeats the whole purpose. I have learned over time to sort of like practice that routine, or maybe during the day, look at the routines on my phone so that I can do it naturally before I sleep. Or alternatively, I drop my phone somewhere, I'm hearing what the person is saying, but that would only work well if you've already seen the video earlier, because sometimes, especially if you're getting into yoga, you need to see what the yogi is doing so that I'm not looking at the phone whilst I'm hearing the voice. So, but the best thing is maybe the first few days when you're getting into it, you can look at the video, but reduce the intensity of lighting on your screen, reduce it very low so that it's like it doesn't have as much effect. The blue light doesn't have so much effect on your eyes whilst you're watching. And then once you're done, don't be tempted to do any other thing on your phone. Just put off your phone and sleep, right? And I'll tell you why. Yoga uses a lot of breath work, right? That's one thing a lot of people don't know. So it's not just enough to do the routines. You also need to control your breath. The breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out is where the sweet spot is. Yes, you're working on building flexibility and relaxing your muscles, but the breath work during yoga helps you to relax, also helps you to push your body to do more, into more positions that you don't think that you can get into. But that's another discussion for another day. That's not relating to sleep, but breathing in and out really helps. Now, following up on this yoga one, another one that I just learned recently and I practiced it last night. And I think, honestly, this one, you probably don't even need yoga again, especially if you're going to be tempted to be on your phone. Just practicing the act of controlling your breath or breathing exercises. taking deep breaths in and out. Deep breath through your nose and deep breath out through your mouth, to get you to relax. I know that a lot of times is when you hear mindfulness and breathing, and it just seems like, is it really? Because a lot of people, including myself, used to find it hard to just sit still and, taking that, just breathing and out. But more and more, I'm learning the importance, especially with this program I'm running. And before the start of all the program, before the start of every class, we always have to do this breath work to put us in the zone, right? At the beginning, I'm like, oh, what are we really doing? But not until I started practicing this when I want to sleep that I now realize it works. And it really did a great one. It helped me last night, especially, as in before I knew it, I'd fallen asleep. Like it worked like magic. So whilst you're laying down on your pillow on your bed, just taking a deep breath through your nose, hold it, and then while you're taking it out, you're relaxing. And then you do this a couple more times, like no rush it, just relax. And then you find the rhythm that works for you. And then after a few minutes, you just try and sleep. You find out you sleep better. So try it and let me know if it works for you. But really, it really did work for me last night. And that last night, in the first time in the last 4 days, was the night that I had the longest sleep. And yes, I don't want to get into what I was doing, especially on weekends. I went food shopping, then food prepping that went on till very late into the night. So I didn't sleep early. And yes, it's been a struggle for me, but I'm glad that I'm back on track last night and I'm going to continue this night. Hopefully, I'm very determined to stay on course to the end of this challenge and hopefully continue to ensure that I get into that place where I'm in a great place with my sleep and I'm getting enough rest and adequate, good quality sleep. So yes, those are the things I wanted to share. So again, the dangers that associated with lack of sleep is number one, low energy, and which will affect you getting through the day and delivering on all of your responsibilities or being fully there for all the people in your life and your loved ones that you need to be there for. And also not being irritable. Low energy equals being irritable entirely during the entire day, right? Or most of the day. So if you find out that you're getting irritable and maybe just through interaction with people that live with you or people you meet during the day at work or at home, check yourself. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you resting well? Are you stressed? What can you do to manage these things? Is there a way you can cut out certain things? What can you do to cut out certain things from your life so that you can be less stressed? Can you delegate some things to people, whether it's at work or at home? If it's that someone can help you do school runs or some deliverables, if you have people who report to you, can you delegate some of this work? Can you, even if you don't, can you renegotiate timelines with your line manager or with whoever it is you committed your time and your resources to? Can you confirm what is priority so that you can focus on certain things rather on one thing at a time rather than trying to juggle so many things? And see, we used to think that multitasking is a thing, but studies have shown that our brains are not wired to do multiple things at the same time. So it's tackling one thing at once, at a time, and then moving to the other one. Either you do this one up to this point and pack it, and then go on to the second one. But having 5 different tabs open on your laptop, or having 5 different PowerPoints open and working through different things, you're just stressing your brain and your body. It doesn't work because one will end up suffering and one will end up getting prioritized. So why not just focus on getting one to one level and then move to the other one, or figuring out which one is most important and is needed tomorrow, and then focusing on it before moving to the other one. So that's that with energy, getting less energy, being irritable. Then the other one is raising your cortisol level, which can keeping it at a constant high due to stress and lack of sleep, can end up leading to things like heart diseases, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, anxiety, depression, all of those things. Number 3 is that it can jeopardize your fitness journey or your weight loss journey, because in a continuous high cortisol level, lack of sleep, stress, too much stress disrupts your hormones, and you will end up gaining weight rather than losing weight, And so I know how frustrating it can be when you are dedicated to something. You've been showing up every day, you need to work out, you've been actively going for walks, doing all of these things, you've been eating well, but you're not seeing the results. Maybe you need to check your sleep. Maybe you need to check your stress levels and see if that area of your life is something you need to improve upon. Then, yeah, I think that's basically it. And then my tips for getting a good night's sleep, the best night's sleep, like reclaiming your sleep back, is number 1, aiming to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day. Number 2, establishing when you go to sleep and when you go to bed every day. Sit down with yourself. Ask yourself realistically, what time can I? And maybe we should start from a place. I probably should have started from, why are we doing this? It's a place of self-care. Because what happens is that we tend to, and especially women, we tend to prioritize other people in our lives, other things in our lives, and we leave ourselves for the last. So maybe we should try and see this from another perspective, that this is me taking care of myself. This is an act of love to myself. This is an act of care to myself, to be able to sleep well. Because if I sleep well, I have more energy. If I sleep well, I'm less irritable. If I sleep well, I feel happier and more joyful. If I sleep well, I'm controlling my hormones. If I sleep well, I'm not susceptible to weight gain. If I sleep well, I am giving my body and my mind and my entire self a chance at good health, a chance at living longer without any complications. Yes, I know that life is not within our hands, but this one is within our control, right? The things we can do, I'm giving myself a chance to live a healthier, longer life. So look at it from that perspective. Establish a time you want to go to bed and wake up every day. Try and cut off all technologies an hour before you sleep. Another one I forgot to mention earlier, or maybe I didn't deliberate on, is stop eating 2 to 3 hours before your bedtime, so that your food can have enough time to digest, so that you are sleeping, so that your body is wholly focused on sleeping, not that your body is digesting food at the same time trying to sleep. You're not going to get a good night's sleep, because your body is doing 2 different things. So eating, stopping your last meal of the day earlier even gives your body enough time to recover. Because the way we're created, we're not supposed to be eating all the time. That's where intermittent fasting comes in. And that's really what intermittent fasting is about. Giving your body enough time to repair itself without loading and adding more food to it, right? But again, I know that there are some times that you find out you're hungry towards bedtime. It has happened to me before. Maybe I did not calculate well, or I felt like I didn't need food, and then I'm feeling like, why am I feeling hungry towards bedtime? Try and see if you can at least leave 1 hour before you sleep and eat light meals. Banana is always a good one to eat close to your bedtime. It's not going to give you indigestion and all of those things. And not a lot. It's like light food. So light food that will not cause indigestion. It's something you can eat later at night. But once you eat it, try and see if you can leave 1 hour before you actually go and sleep, to give your body some time to digest the food, right? So I've spoken about the number of hours we need to get, 7 to 9 hours, establish which one works for you. Then having a particular time you sleep and wake up to help your body to get into a circadian rhythm. The third one is not eating too close to your bedtime. So at least 2 to 3 hours before you sleep, or if you absolutely have to sleep, eat closer to your bedtime, please leave 1 hour before you go to bed. Then another one is staying off all technology and devices at least 1 hour before you sleep. There's so many other things you can do within that time. Talk to your loved ones. If you have people at home, play with them, have a conversation with your partner, with your kids, pray, read a book that is not very stimulating, or so that your brain is not actively working. And what else? Yeah, that's it about the things you can do within that. A shower, play music, just find other things to do versus looking at your device. And then what else? Make your bedroom a haven. Make your bedroom, like when you come into your bedroom, like let it feel like the zone for sleep. And that being said, also try and see if it is possible, as much as possible. Try not to walk in your bedroom or eat in your bedroom or do anything in your bedroom besides sleeping, so that your brain and your body automatically feels like, once I step into this zone is just for sleeping. Not that your brain is telling you this zone is also for working, so you're not able to fully relax. If you have enough space in your house, walk outside of your bedroom. If you have space for having a work office or a study, please do. If you can walk if you have a dining table, maybe it's an established place for your dining table on your living room, try and walk there as much as possible if you can. Don't do like walk in your bedroom or eat in your bedroom, right? And I don't encourage having TVs in the bedroom personally. Some people do, but if you can also put in that discipline that the TV in your room also goes off 1 hour before your bedtime rather, then that's fine. That's completely fine. Then I hope I'm not missing anything. Yes. And then breath work, practice breathing, taking deep breaths and relaxing yourself before bedtime. Guys, this one, I want you to try it. I think it's the game changer, honestly. Even if because it's almost impossible to just switch off the brain, like switch off from everything and want to switch on sleep. So this one helps you to switch on sleep immediately, right? As in giving that time for your brain to relax, your body to relax, to get into the zone. That breathing in and breathing out. Try it and let me know how it goes. And I'm sure if it works for me, I'm sure it's going to work for you. So that's what I wanted to share today. And I hope that this really helps somebody. Sleep is very important. Prioritize your sleep and take care of yourself. All right, until next time, take care. Bye.